Now, there's a common acting problem that I see in beginners, drama school graduates, and even professionals, but for very different reasons. So in this quick tip, I'm going to help you recognise it, and then we'll solve it with one simple exercise. Hi, I'm Scott. You're watching Inside Musicals, the channel for all things musical theatre. Great actors are more than just talking heads. Now, sure, most of us, with a little effort, can make words sound spontaneous, but great actors embody the moment. They communicate with voice, gesture, and intention to create meaning for an audience. When it's all just lip service, all talk, no action, it only tells half the story. So here's where I see talking head most often. In experienced actors who have limited body awareness, so they come across as passive, sincere, or maybe unfocused. Or in drama school graduates who are focused, but they're so intent on paring back extraneous movement that they become rigid. Now, stillness is great, but unless there's something going on underneath, it doesn't communicate anything. Or then in the professional world, we have what we call domestic acting. This is something we often associate with TV soaps. It's naturalistic, but also kind of flat. And, often for good reason. When you're churning out 5 broadcast hours of television a week and storylines run over months, scenes tend to be more filler than juice. And so the acting tends to be diluted. It's more chatter than anything else. So how do we venture beyond talking head to activate the body and the voice? Well, it starts with body language and listening to our instinct to move. We amplify it, then we match the voice to the physicality. And here's one way to do it. At the beginning of rehearsal, go big. Like, I'm talking over the top, stylized, completely cartoony or silent film acting. And then ask yourself, if someone took a snapshot at this moment, could they tell what's going on? When we go big, we have to physicalize and we have to be specific or it doesn't mean anything. And the more we do it, the better we are at defining each beat of the scene because we're forced to make choices. But when we go small, we never make those breakthroughs. We kind of gloss over moments. It all feels a little bit empty. And that's not acting. That's, I want to say, dictation. Boring. But a warning. Going big is not the goal, it's the stepping stone. And once we've mastered it, we can bring it down to suit the material. In film, for instance, the tiniest movement in a close-up can be significant. But on stage, there's such a small part of the frame that a pissy little gesture just doesn't cut it. But when we go big, it reads. And you might be surprised how big it can be and still look natural. Well, it does if it's connected to an idea, a motivation. Otherwise, it just feels camp. So we still have to answer those basic acting questions. Who am I? Where am I? What do I want? What's going on around me? What are my biases? Is each moment good or bad for me? So let's do a comparison. Let's see it in action. Let's start with inexperienced and unfocused. There, out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from grace. And you'll notice how that movement doesn't contribute anything. In fact, it's distraction. So let's compare that to focused, but rigid. There, out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from grace. Yes, there's no distraction, but there's also no depth. So now let's add some focused movement. There, out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from grace, fallen from God. Now, you might make different choices, but now at least it's more animated, more connected, more engaged. And we're not so much illustrating the words as illustrating the intent behind the words. When all we do is illustrate the words, again, that's when it falls into campness. There, out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from grace, fallen from God. Which could be hysterical in a cabaret, because it's so misguided. But could you sustain it for a whole song? The point is, voice and gesture can reinforce each other to tell the same story, or they can contradict each other to reveal a lie, sarcasm, or irony. But either way, they're still working hand in hand. And bonus tip, play one intention at a time. When we give mixed messages to the audience, nothing reads very clearly. So if, for instance, we want to convey self-irony or inconsistency within a character, which is very human, instead of kind of smushing it all into a generalised state or tone, a weekend in the country, I'm insulted and I've nothing to wear, which is all a bit samey, we play one moment at a time in sequence. A weekend in the country, I'm insulted and I've nothing to wear. And now it's specific, much clearer, much funnier. Now, I believe a performer's job is to interpret for the audience, not to tell them what to think, but to tell them what we mean so they can draw their own conclusions. Words alone don't do it. Words mislead. Characters lie. But characters' deeds and actions tell the story. Watch some of the great sitcoms. Notice how physical they are. Notice how they land the laughs with gesture, voice, and timing. And for a little inspiration, I've linked a couple of videos in the description. Notice how Kristen Chenoweth and Glenn Close inhabit every moment of the song without compromising vocal technique. There's no talking head here. This is whole body acting, and it's the mark of a great performer. So try this technique of going big to go small. It might feel weird at first, but let me know how it works for you. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I do love you. Now you get out there, be brilliant. See what I did there? Yep. Embody the moment.